Hi guys, so it was such a rough morning. I woke up like 10 minutes later than I used to do. I was taking my time and then I got on the freeway. I didn't realize that one of the lanes were closed, so that like really threw me off. Class started at 8 and I got to class at 7:55. We had class from 8 to 12 and today we had to dress up professionally because we had a patient come in. I have a break from 12 to 3 and I'm just gonna be studying and touching up my notes from the 4-hour class and also prepping for anatomy because anatomy is at 3. So I'll see you guys later. So I just got done studying for an hour. So I've been using this app called Force that I really like. You have to like set a timer on how long you want to study, and if you exit the app, your tree dies, and I don't want to see my tree die. So I try to study and not touch my phone so much. I found that was a big distractor. The first month of med school, I was always on my phone. So I studied for an hour. I just got some water and took a walk around the building. So our med school, the study area is in the basement, so there's not much sun here. So yeah, I have about an hour left till my next class and I'm probably gonna study for another 40-50 minutes and head over there. So bye. I've studied long enough. It's already 7:30 p.m. and I'm so tired. I've had a long day. Let's see. I studied for 220 minutes today. So that's good. I'm really hungry. I've been up since 7. I had lunch at noon. It's 7 p.m. and I'm super hungry. So I'm gonna go home, cook dinner, and by that time it's probably time to go to bed. But we'll see if I can squeeze in some more studying. This is like my typical Monday. Monday classes starts at 8 till noon, and then this week was a little different because we had an extra anatomy class. Very anatomy intense this week, which is fine. We have our big test coming up in a few weeks. Usually my Mondays are just one class. So I'm gonna go home. It's dark outside. So let's head out. It's 10, so I'm gonna go to the gym for a good 40 minutes and shower and sleep. So, see you at the gym. So, I was supposed to wake up early, but I was so exhausted. I didn't go to sleep until after midnight. Going to the gym just makes me exhausted. So I figured since this is the last week that I'm gonna have Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings off, I wanted to sleep it because next week starts clinic and I'm gonna be in clinic Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings until noon. So I'm gonna have Monday through Thursday 8 a.m. which is hard because I'm not a big morning person, but I like to get everything done out of the day anyway, so it's not too bad. So I decided, I waited out and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna sleep in. And it's already 10:35. So I'm gonna start my day. I'm just gonna put a little bit of makeup on and I'm already all caught up with my studying, so probably look over a few things, cook lunch, and head out to class. Class isn't until 3 and that's my only class today. Gonna eat my first meal of the day and read some emails. We get a lot of emails. So many emails. Stir fry with leftover rice, frozen veggies. It's really good. Oh my god, funny story. So yesterday I was like, oh, I need to start watching sketchy videos, right? Even though we haven't learned much about microorganisms yet. So I watched the video, and then at the end, I just watched it. I didn't take too many notes. I watched towards the end. In the end, it like does this laugh, like you should watch this over and over again. It goes haha, haha, and then it turns into like a very scary, like demonic laugh, and I was so scared. I paused it and I was like, really sketchy? Did you just have to do that? And then last night I had a scary dream because I was like, I know this laugh is gonna like haunt me in my sleep, and it did. It did. I woke up at like 4 in the morning. I was like, oh, this is such a scary dream. I had to wake myself up. Have you had those before where you just wake yourself up from your sleep because you're like, no, I can't handle this dream anymore? I did that last night. That's probably why I didn't wake up as early as I wanted. I stayed up for a good 30 minutes because I was so frightened. Oh, so earlier I was talking about, so starting next week, we start at our clinical sites. We're first year medical students. So this is week 8 of med school. And week 1 through week 8, we learned all about patient encounter, patient care, and like medical assistant tasks such as urinalysis, visual acuity tests, taking patient height and weight. So the last 8 weeks we've been learning about that. We've also been learning a lot about vaccinations and giving vaccines. So this is week 8. Clinic starts next week. So right now my schedule is Monday class, and then Tuesday only have 1 class. Wednesday for the last 8 weeks we've had simulation. And simulation is where we have all these patient encounters. We were thrown into a patient interview the first 3 days of med school. That was terrifying if you never had a patient encounter before. And so Wednesday it was just sim. And we had 2 sessions of that. So 1 in the morning from 8 to 12. So it's a super long day. You're on your feet for 4 hours and you're learning like 1,000 new things. And then you go back in the afternoon from 3 to 5 to basically do more. Or the last 2 weeks we've been doing checkoffs. So we have to know all these tasks and we have to do them perfectly. Basically we have to do like 100% on these tasks. In order to be ready for a clinic next week. And then Thursdays, 2 classes, and then Friday it's anatomy. So starting next week, we're gonna throw in clinic. So we're gonna be in clinic 2 days a week. My clinic days are Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings from 8 to 12. We're gonna start clinic and we're gonna basically be shadowing or tagging along with the medical assistants first, and then I guess as we progress we'll start to work with other people on the team. So yeah, clinic starts next week and I'm so nervous. Like I passed all my checklists, aced them all, but there's a difference between doing a checklist with staff members versus doing it on a real patient. So that'll be interesting, and I'm excited but I'm also nervous. So that's how our curriculum is. Our school's curriculum isn't the traditional 2+2 curriculum. It's called a shared discovery curriculum, where it's a lot of integrative, collaborative. So it's a different kind of curriculum where they want to get the students out on the field basically earlier rather than later. So for the traditional curriculum, you go into clinic as a 3rd-year medical student. The first 2 years of med school for the traditional curriculum is all classroom, learning your science foundation, and then the 3rd or 4th year you go into clinic. So for our curriculum, we get thrown into clinic 9 weeks into medical school. And so the last 8 weeks we've been learning about how to just talk with the patient, which is interesting because you can play it out in your head and it sounds fine. But when you're actually in front of a patient, you're like dumbfounded. Or you're like a deer in the headlights, you know? Depending on what kind of person you are. So I'm a little more introverted. I'm a big listener, so I don't talk too much. So I can ask questions, but I just like to listen, and it's kind of hard to follow up on those conversations with more questions. But yeah, I spent the past hour doing flashcards on osmosis and questions on board vitals. I try to remind myself to do some questions because people say that's the most effective way of learning. So I want to do like 10 questions, but I go through like why all the wrong answers are wrong. It's good to just go through them and get exposed to the type of questions that will be on STEP, basically. And good exposure and repetition and reading why you got something right and why you got something wrong is actually really helpful too. So I just had a 10-minute break and I'm gonna review before class. I'm on campus and I have class from 3 to 5. This is like small group. It's basically class after clinic, but we haven't started clinic yet. So next week it'll be more patient oriented. So small group is where we're supposed to like share a story about what we learned in clinic that day and also build on what we learned on Monday. So that's like the big theme of the week. So we're about to do that. See you in 2 hours. Hi, so just got out of class really early. It's actually 4:30, not even. And so I'm just gonna go back home and study. I found out some really bad news today, so just gonna keep people in my thoughts today. And so just gonna go back and study. Study for 380 minutes. Now we're gonna go to the gym. You messed up. Nice and cleaned and ironed. Haven't washed my white coat since I got it, so I finally washed it and it didn't turn out too bad. I was so scared of washing it in case it like got ruined. We're on our way to sim, which is like, this is flex time, so this is like an extra session that we have before clinical starts. So we just have class. This is where we have extra time to do simulation stuff. Today we just have a presentation on one of our big tests, which is patient clinical skills exam. They're just gonna tell us about it, even though we already took the exam a few weeks ago. And we're gonna get to talk to some M2s about their clinical experience, so that'll be fun. So it won't be too long. So it's already 11:30 and I'm gonna go to bed. I have a long day tomorrow, so it's gonna end the night here. See you tomorrow. It's already 10:36 and I have a big sip coffee date at 11, so I'm just doing my makeup, but it's at a cafe, so I'll stay at the cafe till class is at 1, and then I have a histology class from 3 to 5, and then I have another class from 6 to 8, and that is just a supplementary class ran by M2s, and we just go over practice questions. And we learn how to work through questions. They kind of guide you on how you're supposed to read the question, what to look for, what you can rule out, what's important and what's not important. So the last time we went, it was super helpful, the first session. And we had that right before our big test, which we took last week. And that was a 5-hour test meant for for all the students. You're supposed to progress. So our cutoff for M1s 8 weeks into medical school was 35% to get full credit. And I passed. I'll see you guys later. So I just finished my coffee date with my big sib, and she was so nice. So we just talked about what she did in clinic and her experience and what she's doing now to prep for step, and just catching up on life and figuring out how to deal with medical school. So it was really good. We were in there for a good hour and a half. So now I'm deciding on where I want to go for lunch and then go to class because it's almost time for class. This is lunch. I'm so hungry. It's 5 o'clock. I just got out of class and now I'm gonna eat dinner, which is just the rest of my food. I only ate like a few bites earlier because classes is so hectic. So I'm just gonna eat dinner. I have an hour till my next session. Yeah, it's been a long day. It's already like 8 and I came to a cafe to get some milk tea and to just study a little more before I go home, get some work done before I just go and lay in bed. So I went to sleep really late last night, around like 1, so I woke up pretty late today. I woke up around 9 and then I studied for a little bit, and here I am. I have class from 1 to 3 and then the rest of the day I'm probably just gonna study some more. And we have like these weekend learning modules which prep us for our next week, so I might start working on that as well and figure life out. So I'll see you later. So it's almost 6, and so after class, my niece needed me to take her to the store to get her a red polo. She's starting her volunteer shift tonight, and they need to wear red polos to volunteer. So I took her shopping, and we ate an early dinner together as well. So dropped her off, and I'm so tired. I just want to take a nap. So I'm debating if I want to take a nap or start studying. So if you guys have noticed, I slept in a lot this week. And it's because it's the last week that I get to sleep in, basically. Once clinic starts next week, I'm gonna have Monday through Thursday 8 a.m.s, which means I won't be able to sleep in. So this week I was like, every chance I could, I just wanted to sleep in. And sleeping is good for you, so yeah. So I slept in a lot. I'm sure I'm not going to be able to sleep in as much when clinic starts. So I took advantage of that. And I kind of want to take a nap because I want to take advantage of all the hours that I can get to nap. Sun is going to set soon. Probably going to study some anatomy. And I haven't really reviewed things, so what I need to really work on is reviewing a material. They always say you need to periodically review your old stuff, especially like stuff from like week 1 till now. So I haven't really reviewed anything, and I need to do that for anatomy because we have a big test coming up, and I need to make sure that I know everything. Isn't my boyfriend cute? I told him to leave me a message, and he wrote, "I'll see you soon, love." Hey guys, I am going to the cafe to do some studying. That'll be fun. So that's all I'm doing today. Start of my week. It's already noon because, you know, I like to sleep in. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Yeah.